Unabashed by the condemnation of lesser clans, the Otomo stamped their feet over Kyushu, killing thousands and ensuring that ideas of resistance would be forgotten. Seeing the apparent ease with which they dodged the blades at their back, the other members of the too small anti-Otomo coalition surrendered without a fight, extending Yoshiaki's power yet further. His son Yoshishige attacked and subdued the Uichi on the mainland, removing the last real threat of attack. But as a historic enemy of the Otomo, Yoshishige and Yoshiaki both had yet more to gain in tearing their new vassal family apart. Father, I have taken the liberty of setting in motion a scheme for the Christianization of nearest Honshu. Firstly, I have sent word to the Kikawa family that if the Matsuda violate their borders, we shall declare war on the invaders. The Kikawa, being weak by nature, will lose everything, leaving us with ample reason to secure ground at the Matsuda's expense, wherefrom we can commence conversion of the mainlanders. Similarly, finding the Uichi to be in the midst of a feud with the Sue, I offered them the same guarantee. With these arrangements made, it is but a matter of time before legitimate cause for campaigning on the mainland will arise. I will advise the next Nanban fleet to bypass Kagoshima and meet us there, for surely there will be plenty who will not listen to the Lord's words. Hello and welcome back to Barbarian Masters, where the peace we won in the previous episode has immediately fallen apart. We're now at war with more regions in total than we've ever been at war with. We're at war with the Sue, just to the east here of the Uichi clan, and perhaps more importantly with the Matsuda, who control a decent amount of western Honshu. I'm checking out what the Sue have, and they have quite a lot. 2 full armies off a single region, and the armies appear to have quality Ashigaru in them as well. Highly suspicious. The main thing to think about with the Sue is whether we can exploit their potential invasion of the Uichi. If they leave their territory, we can take it and destroy them as a faction. That's the main possibility. But right now, Yoshishige, our main force nearby, needs to go back to Kyushu because his army is so damaged from his campaign against the Uichi. He needs a turn or two to replenish before we'll be in a safe position to do anything. Now the Sue do go after the Uichi. The Uichi had moved out to face them and they appear to lose that engagement, as you might expect given the numbers there. So that's good to know. Yoshiaki has also come over to Honshu now. He, as you might remember, was just positioned in docks ready to do something. Finally, he's got something to do. He's got an excuse to come over to Honshu and look for some more fights to fight, and some may be coming up very soon. While he's away from Kyushu, it's going to be up to Kobayakawa to take control of all of the provinces we've recently captured. He'll be moving down towards Kagoshima in Satsuma, where he can not only recruit superior samurai to start building up a potential third army, but be close to the route that the Nanban trade fleets will be taking coming into our territory. So that'll help him oversee our operations while the main forces are away. We've got a new war coming up. It looks like the Mori are attacking Kikawa. Mori only have one region, so this will be a difficult war for them, and we're going to join on Kikawa's side, just giving us more excuses to conquer parts of western Honshu. There's the Takeda fleet that we saw in the previous part. They have a very big navy, and it's just moving through our line of sight, through our waters. It's actually most likely moving from southern Japan to northern Japan, and so to switch between the two seas it needs to go all the way around the end of the country. So that's why we're seeing all these guys coming near us. Hopefully they're not going to conduct any raids against us while they're here. So in the next turn we noticed the Sue didn't actually do anything. They didn't continue on with their attack against the Uichi, which was unexpected, but it's still nice. They're still leaving themselves open to this potential attack from Yoshishige. I noticed I can land his army in a hidden position in their territory, so they won't know that he's landed, and then if they continue on against the Uichi, we can just bring them down. Before I decided whether to do that or not, I needed to make some naval attacks because we've lost our trade once again. This time it's the Matsuda blockading our main port. We do need a permanent naval presence here that can fight off any sort of fleet that comes over to blockade this place, and Uno with the black ship is going to be perfect for just that role. So there's a few ships that we catch here in the blockade, but I have to fight this manually since we've seen the black ship doesn't really work in auto-resolved. The only interesting thing about this fight was that the Matsuda seemed to have researched fire arrows, so they came in with these Bokuboya and started setting fire to the black ship. That's potentially very dangerous. You can set the crew to repair the ship while it's on fire, which I think puts the fire out while our other ships take down the enemy crews. And that worked fine, so we got away with that, but still, need to keep that in mind. We can't end the battle, again because of auto-resolving. We need the battle to be completely over so it doesn't try to auto-resolve any route phases either. And we managed to do that right away by just immediately shattering the enemy boat with a volley of cannon fire. That fight was over, we've got our trade back, and now we can position the main fleet with its zone of control, stopping anything going past to blockade our ports. They have to fight us if they want to blockade the port now, so that's great. And now with all that done, I am going to go ahead with this naval invasion from Yoshishige. We move around the Sue territory and deposit him in the forests where it looks like he is indeed hidden. For some reason, I can't send the ninja off the boats that was with him, so that's annoying. I guess you can only land one thing per turn. But anyway, we're now in a position to take down the Sue as long as they don't come back into their own castle. I will make no changes to the ruling of Lord Yoshiaki on this matter. But my lord, surely even you will agree that things have gone too far. Nothing has gone too far. The peasants are not free for the taking. They have a right to security against attacks, be they from outside or inside the clan. I've had enough of this nonsense. Lord Yoshiaki has made it clear that until there is proof of these disappearing people being... Look, there is no reason to believe it is not simply brigands or pirates. You will really fight to defend this practice, Lord Kobayakawa? There is no fight. I am simply stating the truth. You state the story you would have be true for your own sake. You are a coward. I am loyal. I am serving my lord diligently and not questioning his strategy. The same strategy that has brought greatness to this island. Some would say darkness is what he brought. Then go to a church and see the light. You're bluffing your way into that too, are you? Guards, imprison this man. On what charge, Lord? I'll tell you later. Get out! The Uichi attempt to attack the Sue and appear to be defeated, and then the Sue shuffle forwards, not quite going in to attack the Uichi survivors. This looks pretty good for us. It means they're now even further away from their own castle, plus the Uichi have lost most of their army as well. And wouldn't you know, Yoshiaki happens to be hiding his army just outside the Uichi's capital. Well, we'll see what comes of that. Meanwhile, we've got Yoshishige's action to complete, and it is going to work now. We quickly storm the castle. Nothing inside, thanks to the Uichi providing a very nice distraction. We'll be taking this territory and destroying the Sue clan, which kindly gets rid of the Sue armies for the Uichi, and Yoshishige has become courageous apparently as a result of this operation, so that is good news. We'll repair the place up and probably just sit here for a long time because public order is going to be really low. There's no Christianity at all here on the mainland, so it's going to take us a long time to make it so that people aren't very angry at us for not supporting the right religion. But we've got time to play with because the war is going to be taking place around this area by the looks of things. We've got the Mori just there to the east, and the Matsuda are on their way, taking Kikawa territories every turn. But now it's time for a most treacherous move. I realise this is a chance to finish off the historic rival of the Otomo once and for all, even though they are our vassal, and it is extremely dishonourable and will give us a permanent honour debuff to break the vassalship in order to declare war on them. It's going to be worth it for our clan pride, and Yoshiaki doesn't care about the honour. Open the gates! It's Lord Otomo! We're saved. Glad to make your acquaintance. Are you sure it's okay for my men to just enter the castle? Of course, Lord. The Sue won't stand a chance against our combined forces. Combined? Who is it you are combining with, exactly? You, my lord. Oh, no. I'm here to conquer this castle. But, Lord, your son promised us protection. But I never gave my son the right to make such deals. It was invalid, my good man. You really should have checked. What does this mean? It means I can do this. Soldiers of Otomo, kill them all! With that, we've secured ourselves 2 provinces on the mainland and taken out the Uichi clan, looking pretty good. Both provinces will have the public order problems that I mentioned, so we won't be able to move out for a while. The Uichi now count as rebels, what's left of them, and they annoyingly start destroying what used to be their own territory out of spite, but they didn't have enough movement points to attack me. Often rebels will make a suicide attack just to finish themselves off. We'll have to do it the slow way. Also, we've now got Psyker ships coming around to blockade our non-main trade ports, as well as the main ones, which I think are currently blockaded by the Matsuda, but we'll sort that out eventually. So I'll just have to put together another fleet to defend the southern end of the island. I was testing here how things would look if I tried taking the armies out of the castles. Very bad indeed, so any dream of going after the Mori right now is not going to happen. The Mori, for whatever reason, don't really have many armies, so I thought this is a good chance to go and take them down. But we can't do it, we'll just have an instant rebellion if we move away, so we're just going to sit here and use the suppression provided by the troops to tax the province so we make a bit of money at the very least. And it's going to be a similar deal for Yoshiaki. He has to repair up the damage done by the rebels to start getting rid of public order problems, but he does have the advantage of having empty building slots there in West Suo, so we can put down a church to start converting the province faster, and that will provide some happiness as well. In the meantime, we say goodbye to the last of the Uichi. The Uichi rebels are no problem to auto-resolve out of existence with their drafted army. So now the Uichi are completely, totally, officially dead, and they have no chance of coming back unless there is an uprising in their favour here, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure that does not happen, and we'll put Yoshiaki back in the town to suppress it as well. So there we go. Now we just have to worry about the Matsuda, who you can see at the top of the screen very briefly there, are conquering the Kikawa very rapidly. Now moving into winter, with the battle initiation music glitch going, by the way, that's why you can hear that, there's no battles actually going on, I noticed that 2 of our vassals, Goto and Matsura, are currently staging an invasion of the Psyker clan. This was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect them to really take it seriously and actually send men to go and try to fight our enemies. However, they didn't send very many troops, so it's unlikely to achieve anything, but nice to see they're trying all the same, and attacking in winter, another bad idea. They do have a lot more than that in their army. They've just left most of it garrisoning their home settlements, so I guess they're not too committed to making this attack. For whatever reason, looking at that reminded me that we need to move the missionaries from southern Kyushu all the way up to Honshu. We've now got 100% conversion in all of the provinces that we've taken, so the missionaries need to start moving to our new conquests to sort them out. Then there was some naval action. I say action, we're being forced to fight these little battles to keep the black ship alive. I think in general I'll be cutting these out of the campaign because there's probably going to be quite a lot of super one-sided fights. The only notable thing about this fight was I spent the whole thing loading the guns to get a close-range shot on one of their trade ships, but it surrendered right in front of our guns, so we didn't manage to blast one of their ships into oblivion. A shame, but it does mean we'll capture the ships, and I had to go right on and do another battle right after that. I think this is going to be a repeating trend since our enemies like to send one Bokuboya and the like to blockade our ports. So we'll just have to slog our way through these fights, or I will at least. I wondered if my reputation had become too menacing of late. I was worried over nothing. Word of our ship's power has spread far enough that any sailor knows it, and yet we still see these raids being conducted right beneath our noses. It would be easier to keep my name out of people's mouths if we weren't blowing ships out of the water. I was a fool to force this vessel upon myself, I will admit. However, it has provided a chance to distance myself from Lord Yoshiaki. The ransomed men he acquires in Honshu are for sale to the highest bidder. By persuading the guilds to pay for my trade-enabling services, I have been able to acquire a large portion of the human stock for myself. Those that cannot work for me can be sent to refuges in more sympathetic parts. I shall refrain from mentioning those involved here, for if I am to incriminate anyone with this record of history, then let it be myself. Quite contrary to my expectations, we find out the Goto actually did take a territory from the Saika. I guess they just about managed it in an auto-resolve. The Matsura, meanwhile, having some trouble. You can see they're surrounded by 3 castles. I think they can't move out of all the zones of control there, and their army isn't big enough to take any of them, so they're just stuck, and I guess they'll be stuck there for a while. Perhaps someone will go and try to take them down eventually. You can see here the Matsuda have taken quite a lot of territory now. The Kakawa are almost gone, and they now are essentially the same size as us, so a pretty formidable rival that we're going to need to stop. There they are, besieging Nagato up there. The problem is, if they just storm west, they can actually get into Kyushu. We're not in a position to block them from entering our core. So we need to get out of Suo as soon as possible. Public order is still a problem. It's going to take us a couple more turns to get things completely stable, and I'll need a few drafted units to keep watch while the main forces are away. We've also got the Mori coming in with a full stack, and it's a very decent army. 6 generals, and then absolutely loads of samurai of various classes. Easily the most powerful single army we have seen, and it appears to be coming for us right now. It's taking attrition, so that's nice. They're making a winter assault. A bad choice, but I guess they wanted to get this over with quickly. Really, our only hope here is to use the castle to try and give ourselves an advantage, since our local army is weaker and we can't bring Yoshiaki over to help because he, as I said, is going to have to go and try to block the Matsuda from going too far west. Fortunately, the Mori actually ran away. They gave up on that attack, and that's going to be something they do several times. They're very indecisive about attacking us, so they just moved backwards and forwards for a couple of turns there. We're going to focus on what's going on with the Kakawa and the Matsuda, though. Their army, the Matsuda army that is, has defeated the Kakawa main force and taken eastern Nagato. That leaves only western Nagato under Kakawa control, and they don't really have any troops, so it looks like that's going to fall as well. So we're now preparing to move out. Here we are in the next turn, where the Kakawa have put some form of defense together there, but it's probably not going to be enough, and we need to be very careful here. We need to make sure that Yoshiaki's army is both hidden, just because that's always useful to not let the AI know where you are, and not in reinforcement range of the castle there, because if it gets attacked, we'll get drawn in. We want the Kakawa to fall, because Western Nagato is a key province in the defense of Kyushu, and it would be very nice if we got it instead of our allies. I'm also going to show you here, just briefly, that we actually have quite a lot of family members. We've got all these characters who are too young to use in the campaign, so Yoshiaki has a number of other children, and we can also see Yoshishige has gotten very busy, already pumping out 4 kids since he got married. Very good stuff, so if the campaign lasts long enough, we'll get all of these characters to use for various things, either marriages or as generals.
Word from Yamaguchi, my lord. The Matsuda army is approaching, and the town is being evacuated for the siege.
Evacuated? I'm going to have to track them all down. Thank you, dismissed. Now that it's finally confirmed, I will return to Bungo for a short time. As you all know, I have been gifted with another grandson, and it would be quite remiss of me to not meet him as soon as possible. To any Kikawa envoys that arrive, please assure them that I left weeks ago on this venture, and that I have given you explicit orders to remain here until I return. On that matter, you may expect me in a week. That will be long enough. As predicted, the Kagawa are wiped out and the Matsuda aren't wasting any time. Their army moves on, immediately leaving the castle to start coming towards us. I don't think they know my army is here, so it seems they want to come and conquer West Suo. I only think that because they would have been facing a different direction if they'd been moving to Kyushu right away. So that means we can try and ambush them. I'm moving my ambush point slightly further away from where they are now, just so I'm not in their zone of control. And we'll wait and see what happens. We can see they do have a lot of drafted troops, but they're all really experienced as well, so that makes them just as effective as regular troops. Now they shuffled towards me there. I think they did see me, so they didn't actually want to be ambushed nor fight me in a regular battle, which is interesting. The Noto Hatakeyama declare war on me. I don't know if this is going to mean anything, just throwing that in there, just in case they come and do something later on. They're quite far away, the Noto. So I want to take another look at what the Goto have been up to. They've rampaged their way along the coast, conquering up to Ki, but what happened is they then lost the first two places they conquered to rebels and a new clan, and they've got a rebellion in their new province as well. So they're struggling to make gains for themselves, but they're just wrecking the Saika, so this is perfect for us, reducing their capacity to send those ships against us. So here's our little standoff. They did see my army here, they just don't want to fight it. That suggests they think they're weak, which is good, although they are sitting in their own territory, so they'll be replenishing. They've fought quite a lot of battles recently, so that might be why. I decided to move back and set another ambush, hoping they would walk into it. Unfortunately, they didn't. What they appeared to do is start an ambush of their own, and I'm guessing that because we saw their reinforcement army go into ambush position there, so we can guess the main force is nearby. So that's interesting. It's now an ambush standoff where both sides kind of know we're ambushing each other. However, eventually that came to an end. In the next turn, they just decided to attack us. They probably replenished enough to get this balance bar up to roughly even, and now they were ready to go. They've got their reinforcements. We've got a couple of units of our own reinforcements as well, just drafted troops. So, as I said, they've got loads of leveled up drafted Ashigaru, which makes them pretty powerful. Normally they have really low morale, but at that high level, it gets boosted up so much that they are going to behave a little bit more like samurai units, essentially. Anyway, so let's see how they perform in this battle.
Now, let's see the power of those barbarian weapons for ourselves. They may get the first shots off, but now that we've dressed the samurai as peasants and peasants as samurai, they will waste their attacks on our weakest troops, thinking they are crippling us. Just enough to see what they can do, but not enough to stop us crushing them. If they knew what we did to those Kagawa men, they would not be standing their ground. Storm that hill! Take no prisoners!
The Matsuda put all of their generals and some light cavalry into a right flank attack. This wasn't too bad for us because my reinforcements from the castle, who are all spearmen, came on pretty close, and I formed them into a big echelon to prevent any such attack. Meanwhile, the frontal attack is beginning. You can see I put some of my deployable defences up when the battle first started, just for no reason. Sometimes it messes with the AI's pathfinding when they have to go through it, and it occasionally makes things go a little bit better. Anyway, they're going to have to make a very dangerous run towards the hill. Got a nice position, hitting them with matchlock fire and arrows, of course. And then once they get close, I'm going to charge out with a lot of our troops. I have quite a lot of samurai for the first time in our front line, so we can do a substantial amount of charging using rapid advance as well to give extra charge bonus. Where I don't have samurai, I'm going to be standing still with the other troops. I don't think there's any advantage to doing it. I think counter-charging still is a little bit better even with regular troops, but just in terms of micro, I don't prioritize it. Now all their cavalry did come in to attack all the guys I'd placed to stop the cavalry, so that's going according to plan. Their main general is trying to break through the centre there, not particularly successfully. The fight along the front line is going to be the main point where things might be difficult, since they do have lots of high-level troops and a few samurai of their own. I've got some firebomb throwers here, who I brought into the army, but I'm just not sure what to do with them at this stage, so they're just awkwardly standing behind the front line. Not sure what that explosion was. I think I might have given the firebomb throwers an order and then instantly given them another one or something, and maybe they ended up throwing by accident, I don't know. So yes, I'm trying to target their commander with my matchlocks there to bring him down. On the right flank, things going okay since we're using samurai against Ashigaru in many places, so we're getting a lot of kills. And here, on the centre left, I tried to target the firebomb throws into a blob of enemy troops, hoping I'd throw over the top of my men and into the enemy. Doesn't quite work like that. We just blew up everything, but our guys didn't rout and theirs did, so we ended the melee at least in our favour. Our cavalry were just going wild on the enemy's ranged units, getting some really good kills there, but we're going to have to start getting out of the way now since the enemy's reinforcements are coming in, and as we heard there, we did take out the enemy's leading officer. So as their second army comes in, which is smaller than the first, we've pretty much finished off the first army. This is perfect. We're now ready to face another battle. These cavalry are really the only unit that's going to suffer because of the enemy's reinforcements, because while they were rear attacking this enemy group of Ashigara to try and get them to rout, the enemy's archers started firing at them and we took heavy losses trying to escape from that enemy position. Then we had to get away from those spears as well. Of course, our Naginata samurai will lock them down. The battle with the cavalry out on the left flank is still continuing. The enemy are hard to kill. Even with spear troops, the Hatamoto are pretty powerful troops, so we're trying to do our best to bring them down and slowly succeeding. Our ranged troops still going wild on the enemy as their next waves of melee infantry come in to join the fight, and where they're fighting units like these Naginata samurai, they're not going to make much progress. And another advantage is we can have our archers shoot into that melee, as I'm doing there. Because Naginata samurai are the closest thing in the game to being immune to archer fire, you don't take much friendly fire damage and you still do plenty of damage to the enemy. Now they're trying to hit us with fire arrows in the centre, no particular reason to do that, just for their own personal amusement, and they're all bunched up, all of their remaining skirmishing troops, so I'm moving forward all of my archers and targeting all of my matchlocks onto those guys to just whittle them down with our skirmish advantage. We've got 6 or so units, and a lot of them are veteran and such, so we're just going to annihilate these guys really quickly with concentrated fire. Their bunched up formation is super vulnerable to that as well, it goes really well. And just to end off the battle, a final volley of firebombs goes to get rid of the targets from our Naginata samurai. Not sure if they're particularly strong against firebomb throwers, no idea if the firebombs ignore armour or not. Hopefully they don't, and we didn't kill too many of our own troops. Really not sure what to do with firebomb throwers overall, they're not very suitable for a field battle, or a defensive one at least. So there we go, we won the fight. It was actually easier than I expected there. The frontline engagement went surprisingly well. I don't know if it's because of Yoshiaki up here with his standard fight formation, which gives you extra melee attack, or maybe it was just because we had more samurai than usual, and samurai really are very good in this mod. We lost about 500 men, the enemy losing something like 5 times that amount, so overall a very good trade. And I came in here to check the detailed stats and found that the Naginata samurai in particular were the heroes of this battle. They're a very good unit for just holding the front line. They kill tons of enemies and they're hard to kill themselves, and our range units doing loads of damage, as we saw. The terrain made that a very good battle for ranged units in particular. So altogether, we've really damaged the Matsuda main force. Now they're going to move away and we'll still have to hunt them down and finish them off. But assuming we can do that, this is our chance to push back against the Matsuda and take the Kakawa's territory. The reputation of the Otomo clan grew more daunting, as the Black Ship continued to haunt the seas, and now Yoshiaki's Grand Army had won its first major victory on the mainland. The fame, or infamy, was not just for the clan leader though. With the increased autonomy of his son and 2 senior generals, they could be held responsible for the clan's actions as much as Yoshiaki. But they did not have the authority to end the association with the foreigners, no matter how many times they were asked. And, with Christian beliefs taking swift hold wherever they went, it was clear that barbarian influence did not just come and go. It made itself vital to peasant and samurai alike, and changed who the people of Kyushu were forever. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to everyone donating on the OfficiallyDevin Patreon. We'll face a bit more resistance from the Matsuda and the return of General Kobayakawa as we try to cement our position on the Japanese mainland in the next episode of Barbarian Masters.